Well, hi there. My name is Pierre. I'm a fisherman and a pensioner, and if you've been paying attention, you'll know that I'm on holiday in Montreal, Canada. Visiting my daughter and grandchildren. I haven't seen them since pre-COVID, so having a whale of a time, just doing family things, so really having fun with the kids. So I brought the cameras along and bought myself a cheap fishing kit and try to do some fishing. Now, Montreal is an island in the St. Lawrence River. The St. Lawrence River to the south of us here is a large, fast-flowing river. So fast, in fact, that they've had to build canals on either side, which are locked and stepped to facilitate the commercial traffic. So we've got the mainland that side. We've got a river there we looked at. We've got the canal, then we've got St. Lawrence River, then we've got a canal, then we've got a lake here in the park, as you can see. Further to the north of us, we've got another canal, the Lachine Canal. Little earthworm on the small hook there. We'll try that and see. Might do. Oh, tide's in. Right, so we've had 4 or 5 casts, no nibbles. So I've got the bait out there on the little float, and I can see a few little hints on the surface of the water. Some activity. I'm not sure if it's a fish or not. So there's a fella rented a boat to go up and down the river here. He hasn't seen anything either. He's looking. I'm looking, he's looking. He's got people taking photos of him. So that's actually not a bad idea, is to take a boat out. Could be a bit of fun. Closer, there's fish. Oh, there we go. Got hammered. Half of the worm got taken. Woo-hoo-hoo. There's a little fish there. He got it. Gosh. They're just here. There's fish on it. There's fish on it. You can see the lure. Tiny little fish on it. Eating the worm. Eating the worm. I need a bigger one. Ow. Little fish eating the worm just there. Yep. No action now. Following the worm. Another little fish there on it. Too small for that hook to work. Oh, he's pulled it. Under that rock. There's a little fish on it. He's pulled it. Oh. Gosh, well, I'm getting interest. Tiny little fish showing interest, eating my bait. There's got to be something out there. There's big little fish, there's big fish. I think I might change the rig, put a sinker on it and get it down the bottom in the middle, in the deep part. Well, I've got a weight on the end of the line with the leftover bits of worm to get it down into the deep water. And I've had a nudge. Definitely had a nudge. The rod did go did it, which is about the most excitement we've had in the last 3 weeks. And there's fish jumping, little fish jumping out of the water just here. Tiny little fish. It's interesting. So I've got no bait left. So whatever was interested took the last of that little earthworm. So we'll put this down, put a little false worm down. There's obviously a bit of action here, so put a little bit of false worm down, see if we can get a bite, entice a bite with this fella. Let's try that. Oh, I don't want to go too far. Artificial worm, the plastic there, under the water, and there must be about 7 or 8 little fish on it. So they are keen, but they're far too small. Obviously the hook won't even. Yep. So I think I've just got to get it a bit deeper and we will catch a fish. I'm starting to feel quite positive, but not too deep. Maybe over there. And then on the other side of the island, there's a canal going through that way as well. So a lot of canals. Every time I've been anywhere near one, I've had a look upstream and downstream, and there's absolutely no evidence of anybody fishing. I don't see fishermen, I don't see fish, I don't see action. I don't think there's a lot of fish here. However, I'm determined, I'm not going to give up. Last week in this lake just behind me, I could see signs of lots of small fish in the shallows. So where there's small fish, there must be big fish. So today we're going to cast a line in there and see if we can catch anything. Oh, well, why not? So I think we'll start off with the float and dangle a little artificial worm down below it as a starter, see if we get any interest. Failing that, there's a whole lot of lures we can try, which they tell me are what works in Canada. But I have spotted the odd earthworm along the path, so if this doesn't work, we can go for live bait. So I've rigged up the float with the artificial worm on the end, And again, I must say, this is the smallest of fish hooks. So small, in fact, it doesn't even have a hole there for the line. They just wind it around there. So let's go and toss this one in and see. Wish me luck, folks. I can see some activity of fish here, so let's have a look. Oops. See if we can entice anything to our worm. There's already fish on it. Straight away there's a little fish on it, darting on it. So I think there's interest. Let's get this out a bit deeper and have a look. So we'll set that float over there next to that lily and see if it bobs up and down. Now, if I was back home on OutSmart, I'd be counting to 5. But I suspect fishing's a lot harder here in Canada. So I've moved further down the lake. I've just seen a couple of little turtles under the lily pads here, but there's fish in the shallows, small fish, and they are attacking my artificial worm. But you know what they say, big fish eat small fish. So if I can catch a little fish or something, could maybe go for a bit more fresh bait. I've had a look for earthworms. I don't see any earthworms anywhere. I think earthworms would do well. But nevertheless, good fun. So I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but there's little fish. There are little fish in the water there. They're interested. They come and have a look at that artificial worm and tugging on it. There's a little bit of a tug on that worm, but yeah, there's definite interest. I can see it here. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. So walking around to the other side of the river, and I spot a little bit of live bait. Woohoo! Now we're in luck. We've got a bit of live bait. This should do it. Over the other side of the river in the sun, with a bit of live bait on the bottom of that hook. I don't know if you can see it, but the fish are all over it. And it's gone. Gosh, that didn't work. I guess we're going back to gosh, that took about 10 seconds, and they took all that worm, all of it. So we'll try this little fella again. Live bait or a worm is definitely the way to go, but unless we can find some, let's see what this can do. I don't know if you can see that, but there are a lot of fish there. So if I put this in there, there we go. They're all over it, all over it. but I'll need a bigger one than that if I'm going to catch anything. So we've been sitting here for about 2 hours now, around different spots on the lake. There's activity in the lake, there's definitely activity, there's small fish. Getting a bit of interest on my bait, but no bites. What a way to spend a day. Gosh, just fantastic. Just love it, love it, love it, love it. So you have a look out there, there's my float, and over this side you can see there's fish here. See the ripples? So there's definitely fish around. There's fish in the shallows here too. I don't know if you can see them on the rocks, against the rocks. Tiny fish. Anyway, that's what it's all about. So nearly 4 hours of casting, fishing without catching. I've been around the whole lake, all sides of this lake, to have a look, and I think being the only fisherman in the area tells me, must tell its own story. There's no one else out here fishing. Nevertheless, it's been peaceful. It's a beautiful day. I think if there's any Canadians watching this, I'm saying to you now, you come to Auckland, New Zealand, and I'll take you fishing, and I guarantee you'll catch a fish. And I mean a serious fish. I'm talking serious fish, not a tiddler. I guarantee it. And I'm not a very good fisherman, I'm just an average fisherman. But it has been fun, and be home next week. Definitely go put the boat in the water early next week. So if you've enjoyed this, although there's been no fish on it, if you've enjoyed this, smash us a like. If you haven't subscribed, you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Go back and look at the other videos. I guarantee there's a lot more action in the earlier videos than there has been in the last couple. But that's going to change next week. All going to change. So other than that, catch you next week.